Hi there, Coach Latanya here. Today is a little bit different. Today is the last day of November, which means it's the last day of Native American Heritage Month as well. In spite of my car breaking down and being in the shop for a month, in spite of my printer breaking down at the last minute when I was making products, in spite of the other things, the other challenges that came our way in September, it was crucial that I was able to make it there in October, and I'm going to share with you why. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Let's go ahead and get into it. So I am a tribal citizen of the Cape Fear Band of Indians, Cape Fear Band of Scutari-Wokan Indians. And we had a harvest gathering in October. This actually took place in Leland, North Carolina. And so it was important for us as a community, as a nation, as a tribe, to be able to share who we are with the people that we share this neighborhood with. And so it was a great opportunity for us to gather. Harvest gathering for us is when we give thanks to Creator for all that He's done. We give thanks to Creator for keeping us and maintaining us in spite of the challenges that our ancestors went through, in spite of the reservation system, in spite of paper genocide, in spite of us being recategorized from Indian to Black or from Indian to white, or in spite of families being broken down. It was important that we showed up. It was important that we united again. It was important for us, and it's very important for our well-being. It's important because when we are separated from community, separated from family, separated from, your stories and all of those things that make you rich, you can suffer. We can suffer from that. And so I've always known that I had Indian in my family, but I wasn't quite sure what nation. I wasn't quite sure of the story. So along that journey of discovery and finding more of my relatives, I was able to reconnect with my nation, and today I am a citizen of the Cape Fear Band of Scutari-Wokan Indians. And I'm very happy to be a part of this community because it's who I am, and it's where I come from, the land, the people, and it really explains a lot about who I am and why I am the way that I am. So I want to share a little bit about my culture from my perspective with you today because it is Native American Heritage Month, okay? Now, I want to share this because a lot of times I hear that, oh, that's not, I hear stories about, us being heathens or atheists or worshiping other gods and all these other things. I hear so many stories of, I've been told, I can't tell you how many people telling me you need to be careful, or you shouldn't be doing that and things like that. And it's very hurtful because I understand that they are being genuine, and I understand that they have my best interest. But I think there's so much misinformation out there that it can, there's so much misinformation out there that I wanted to be able to share from my perspective to hopefully shed some light and help you understand my experience as an Indigenous American woman, but also broaden the view of what you may read on social media. So I want to share a little bit about the struggle trying to get there, first of all. Now, I am a woman of faith, and so I know sometimes that whenever I set out to do something, the opposition for me is that opposition is actually highlighting what I should be doing. That's the way I see things. So sometimes if I'm seeing a fight, the fight is because that's exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And this was exactly the case. So we had already planned months ahead of time to get there, to get to the Carolinas in October. And in September, the car broke down and it was in the shop for a whole month. Okay. In fact, we didn't even get our car out of the shop until the day before we were supposed to leave. So we weren't quite sure if we were going to have to rent a car or what, or even if we were going to be able to make it. And so in faith, I went ahead and I booked the lodging from Airbnb, and I found this wonderful place called Hawk's Nest. Now, this really stood out to me because my Indian name in English is red-tailed hawk, okay? And so when I saw Hawk's Nest, to me, that was just confirmation that I'm supposed to be there. So one of the things in my nation is when we see a red-tailed hawk, we see it as a messenger from Creator. And it reminds us to reflect. It reminds us to be careful. It could be all sorts of things. But basically, it's a messenger. It's Creator trying to get our attention. Now, I wanted to share that because in the Bible, we read how Noah, when he released a raven at first to see if the land was dry, and then he released the dove later on to see if the land was dry. So he used two different types of birds. We also know in the Bible there's another story when there was a prophet who was being fed by the brook by ravens. And these ravens fed this prophet every day bread and meat. And one of the translations said or speaks of God ordering those birds to feed this prophet consistently every day, bread and meat. We also know, or we've heard, or there is in the Bible where Peter denies Yeshua 3 times, and we see the Bible, the dove, being a representation or symbolic of the Holy Spirit. The Bible also says that when Yeshua was baptized, it looked as if there was a dove descending. And so we read these scenarios about birds, we read these stories about birds in the Bible, yet we separate culture sometimes and say, well, that's not of God. But the Bible speaks of birds and how God used birds to speak to or minister to or serve the people of God. And so I think that is important because when we look at, this is my perspective that I'm sharing, when I look at the red-tailed hawk, I ask Creator, can you really speak through a bird? And he shared with me, I can speak through anything you allow me, anything that you open up for me to use, I can speak through it. He can speak through a weather pattern. He can speak through anything that we give to him. So when I see a red-tailed hawk, it reminds me that Creator is with me. Now, here is why. So the car was broken down. A lot of things was happening in September. I saw Hawk's Nest at the Airbnb, and so I booked it there, okay? Now, during that time, one of my cousins messaged me, and she was saying, look who came to visit me today. She had had a really long day, and it was a red-tailed hawk. And I was really feeling discouraged that day because I wasn't quite sure, are we going to have to pay more money to get this van? Are we going to have to cancel our trip? But she saw that red-tailed hawk and she wanted to share it with me at the time that I needed it. So that was a reminder that Creator was with me. So I wasn't quite sure. This is the same span of days, just a few days. I wasn't quite sure. I needed a ribbon skirt. It's a skirt that we wear, many Native women wear, and I'll show you a picture of that as well. For the Indigenous Peoples Day Parade, I needed another skirt. And so I reached out to my sister cousin, and she was able to make it on the spot for me, which was such a blessing. But again, it was at the very last minute. As a matter of fact, it arrived the day that I was leaving. So this is really just the days that I was leaving, okay, planning to leave. It's not even a week time. It's just days apart. So as she's making my skirt, she takes a picture and sends me a picture of, look at the red-tailed hawks, looking at the red-tailed hawks. There were 2 of them taking care of their nest. And that again was just days later, a reminder, because I really wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get a skirt. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to go, wasn't quite sure what was going to happen. And so that gave me belief again. It helped my belief again to go forward, to continue to believe, continue to plan, continue to go forward. And then I get to the Carolinas and I go and meet meet with my parents, and my dad tells me, yeah, that tree right there is where you see, I see a lot of times a red-tailed hawk swoop down from that tree, and hunting. And that was the third time in the house. So that for me was confirmation that Creator was with me. Although all of the things, all of the challenges, all of the opposition, Creator was with me. And he showed that to me every time I started to doubt or wasn't quite sure. There was a red-tailed hawk flying around, or someone sent it to me. And there was another incident as well. I was trying to get to South Carolina and then coming back up to North Carolina. So this was like an hour, a little more than an hour trip, because I wanted to make the events with my community, with the tribe. And someone shared in the picture a red-tailed hawk at one of the events. So this was the fourth incident in a matter of days, and it was confirmation to me that Creator was with me. Sometimes we go through these types of opposition and challenges, but it's the faith that we need. And sometimes my prayer is, Lord, I do believe, but help my unbelief. Okay, so with all of that happening, thank God we were able to make it. So we made it to the harvest gathering. Again, that's where we give thanks to Creator, sharing stories, sharing traditions, sharing dance, sharing songs, sharing our culture with the community. Okay, with the extended community. So it's very important to us. But not only that, as I was doing ancestry research for years now, I saw this space. I saw this space on a map. The very space, the very land that I was standing on, I saw that space. My grandparents were from, my granddad was from that space. They had businesses there. Now, one of the things that's important is that during the Jim Crow era, some of these beaches were white only, okay? And so sometimes when we hear colored or colored only, that means non-white. So you have white and you have colored, because remember, paper genocide means that we no longer existed. So if we were brown enough, we would be black, and if we were lighter than brown, we would be white. So I have ancestors who were able to pass as white, were able to marry white, and then I have ancestors that absorbed into the black community and lived their lives as black. A lot of my descendants own businesses on this beachfront today called Seabreeze. And so I was able to go there and listen to the stories of my elders, and it was such a beautiful and healing experience, because I was finally able to stand on the land that my ancestors walked on, stand on the land that many had to leave from, stand on the land where my family became broken and dismantled, stand on the land and reclaiming my heritage, reclaiming my identity, reclaiming what was taken, reclaiming what was covered. That was so important for me. And I believe that Creator was proud. I believe that my ancestors would be proud today, and I believe that my descendants will be proud as well. So it's very important for me to get back to the Carolinas and to stand on that land that I come from. Now, like those businesses, I was able to sell my products. I was able to sell some of my products, like my calendula oil. Calendula is very good for skin irritations and scrapes and things like that. I'll show you a picture of how my daughter's skin healed with the calendula oil. Botanical bath salts, just a lot of good things that my grandmom exposed me to as I was a little girl. She taught me about foraging. She taught me about plant medicine and teas and salves and rubs and ointments. I learned that. I grew up on that. And so to this day, I'm not someone who takes synthetic medicine. I'm looking for a tea. I'm looking for the natural alternatives. I'm not saying that I will never take those things. I'm not saying that they're horrible. to each his own, but for me personally, I was not raised that way. So I prefer the natural route. A lot of times it is perceived that, oh, you're just a health nut, oh, you're just health conscious, but this is how I was raised. This is how I am culturally. A lot of times when we see someone of the same hue, we assume that they are, it's that way across the board. But we can be of the same hue, the same melanin, the same shade, and culturally be different. So this is another reason why I'm sharing this video with you, to hopefully shed some light and give greater understanding, greater depth, that we are different individually, have different languages, we have different cultural practices, ceremonies. So when you hear these things, you know, that all nations, all natives have the same language. We are not pan-Indians, okay? We have different stories, different origins, different traditions. Now, we do have a lot of similarities, but we have a lot of differences as well, okay? And this is why it's important that we have conversation. I want to share with you a little bit about artisans in Native communities. As Native artisans, we take pride in our work, meaning we believe that all of the things like the natural, the plant medicines, the tinctures, the jewelry making, the food, all of those things, we do that with care. We do that with love. We do that with intention. We do that with reverence. And so when you shop Native, you get great quality art, music, candles, whatever you're getting. And so I recommend, you know, whatever land you stand on, look and see what Native tribe is on that land, is from that land, and find ways to support that tribe. Find ways to walk with them in their initiatives that they are trying to promote as well. Okay. And I also was able to purchase some jewelry that I love from my family and I. One of them is my necklace. Now, I love this. I've always wanted to have a necklace like this, and it's beautiful and it is real. So I'm going to put a clip up how it's made, the story behind this, but this is a piece of art in jewelry and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And it feels great. It wears well. It's very well made. He's very talented, very creative, and I absolutely love it. Have him share with you. I want to get this choker here, and he's going to tell you a little bit about the choker. I believe in buying pieces that have stories, so he's going to tell you a little bit about this choker here.
So this choker here, amazingly, as we were speaking about it, ended up on the East Coast where we're selling it, because the bones come from the buffalo bone that comes from the Midwest. And these spiny oyster beads, they come from Pacific Northwest. Okay. The leather does come from deer that was shot here. Both types of leather come from deer that was shot here. And like you said, it's handcrafted. It's a one-of-a-kind piece. And I am happy that you have decided to take this on.
Thank you very much. And I'm very happy to have it, to receive it. Thank you so much. Now away. Another piece of jewelry that I was able to purchase, I didn't get this at the Harvest Gathering, but I did purchase another necklace from another member of my community. She was very careful to make something that I would like. I'll do it this way. I love this necklace. They're both my favorite. They're both my favorite. And if I could sleep in them, I would. And so I'll let you see how it's very well made. And I wear this even to church. So all right, so this one is turquoise. Turquoise is something that I've always loved, even as a little girl. Like I said again, I was exposed to indigenous culture as a child, and that's really, I'm just so, I was already exposed to it. It's who I am. It's part of my identity. And before I even knew which tribe or anything like that, before I even knew all of the stories, that is just who I am. And so I've always wanted turquoise jewelry, always loved it. And I was able to get that this year, which is such a blessing for me. As Native artisans, we take pride in what we do. And so I wanted to, you know, during this holiday season, look and seek out how you can be how you can help it with other Native communities by shopping some of the artisans from that community. Okay. Now, I also wanted to share the beautiful space that we were able to live in the Hawk's Nest down in the Carolinas. And we had more than enough space. It was beautifully designed. It felt natural. It felt clean. It felt open. I even took some design ideas. We had an eat-in kitchen, dining room, living room. We had, it was an open concept. Everyone had enough room, enough beds. And it was a blessing again for me because I started my business in 2019. This is the first time I was able to fund a business trip that would allow for my family and myself to go, even my dog. And so that to me was success, is being able to bring my family along, being able to show them what I do, being able to promote my business in the land of our ancestors. All of that was a win for me. The host name was Anna, and she was very accommodating. She made sure that we had everything we needed. She made sure that we knew that she was accessible if we needed something. And it was just a great partnership. I even remember I think I used up the paper towels, and I just text her and let her know, hey, we are finishing the last of the paper towels. But she was very accommodating. I love the fact that she had spices already there. You guys know that I'm very careful about the food that I eat. I did not want to go there and eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 days. I wanted to be able to have meals that I can prepare for my family and I, and it was perfect. I also needed a space that I could keep my products clean. If I needed to make more or mix or anything like that, I needed a place that was sanitary. I didn't have to make any more, but I needed to be able to store them in a place that was sanitary, that would keep them cool, not too hot, and all of that. So this place definitely served. The Hawk's Nest definitely served. Beautiful neighborhood. It was excellent. So thank you, Anna, so much for allowing us to live in your space and make it our home, our temporary home. Thank you for being so accommodating, and we're just so grateful for the space and for you as well. Okay, so that's just those are the few things that I was able to do. I'm going to share some more pictures with you of the harvest gathering so that you can see more of what happened there. You can get a better understanding. I hope that you enjoyed the pictures. I hope that you enjoyed this video as well. If you've already subscribed, I want to thank you for subscribing to this channel. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And if you've not yet subscribed, but you enjoy the content here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. So the next time I upload a video, you will be among the first to be notified. It's a pleasure having you.